business. You know I'm out to get it. Stay on my grizzly. Killing competition. Competition. Killing competition. I want it all on focus. Let's go and get it. Go and get it. Set them focus. Say let's go and get it.
All right, guys, welcome back to Pro MMA Insider. My name is Alex Iserman. Had a couple weeks off there. Walt Harris isn't with us tonight. He just became a father, so congratulations to him. We'll hopefully get him back next week on the show. But we're going to be doing a solo tonight, but we have some great guests joining us tonight. Later in the hour, we're going to be joined by the voice himself, Mike Chiavello. He's going to be talking to us about, he's kind of going viral right now with his My Anus commentary from this last week's RFA event. But first, we're going to talk to a guy coming off a really, really hard night of work there. It took all of 18 seconds for him to dispatch at Bellator 93 of Travis. I'm pronouncing the name wrong, Wiuff, but I'm not going to try to pronounce it the right way. But anyway, Ryan Martinez, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us tonight, buddy. How you doing?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us, man. Like I said, it wasn't exactly, the hardest night of work you ever had, 18 seconds. You ever imagine you'd get a victory that quickly over someone of that caliber?
Nah, man, it was a great victory, but the camp leading up to it was the hardest camp I've ever been into, so it was a blessing in disguise.
Well, yeah, so I think that's the thing, right? You work hard in camp, so you don't have to, so the fights are easier, right?
Yeah. That's how it's supposed to go.
Yeah, exactly. You better get beat up in practice and get beat up on TV in front of thousands of people. So, like I said, congratulations, 18 seconds. What a night anyway. I mean, did you get to see any of the other fights? I mean, what a crazy card. Nothing. I mean, other than the main event there, all the fights were quick knockouts.
Yeah, I got to watch every single one of the fights just because it happened so fast. They were looking for fillers in between the fights. So the undercard there was like 4 or 5 fights, but the undercard was so fast also that when the main card hit TV, they had to bridge the gap, between the main card fights. So I'm sure almost every single undercard fight got seen on TV also. Yeah,
it's pretty crazy. I can't think of a single card that had so many quick and fast knockouts, and like you said, I think they could. I don't know if they did, but they could have almost put every single fight on the card on the televised portion. It was pretty crazy. And when I saw you, it was kind of you guys are built. I mean, he's taller than you and stuff, but two big bald dudes going at it. Typically for like, all right, which one's getting the hell beat out of? And then I saw it was Travis, and knowing you a little bit, I was happy for that. But just talk to us about. The strategy there, I guess, didn't last very long, but just, walk us through the whole 18 seconds of the fight.
Well, we touch gloves and whatnot, and, usually I like the first round to kind of fill my opponent out. But, he threw a couple jabs, and I parried him, and then I threw my own jab, and I caught him in the eye. But I also noticed when I threw my jab, he was trying to pair it with his lead hand. So with that being said, after I caught him in the eye with my first jab, I flicked a lazy jab, and then I came over the top with the overhand left, and then I followed it up with a hook, left hook, and then he was already done. He was against the cage, and rather than just sit there and watch him against the cage, I might as well figure, I might as well end it right now, and I hit him with one solid hook, to the face, and it was over.
Right. Now, that was his third consecutive loss. He's going on a little bit of a rough streak here, but, he's 68-17. Obviously, quite an accomplished fighter. He's been in there with tons of people. But, I'm sure that's, would you consider that your biggest victory? And with someone with so much experience, did you really expect the fight to be, I guess no fight's easy, like I said, or like you said, putting the work in before was the hardest part, but did you expect the fight itself to be, so easy?
Realistically, I thought I was going to be in for a grappling match. I mean, he doesn't know what kind of caliber of wrestler I am, and him being, an All-American or whatnot, we focused a lot of the camp, grappling off of the wall, off of the cage, single legs, double legs, top, bottom, side control, just like in case he was trying to rush me to the cage to take me down. I did, you know, a lot of my striking with Jeff, but there was really no game plan as far as the striking goes. It was just if I see an open shot, take it and follow up. So that's basically what I did. I mean, his losses, he didn't lose to no chumps, you know. He lost to the Bellator light heavyweight champion right now, Attila Bey. You know, he got caught with a left uppercut that, you know, rocked him. And then when he was in Abu Dhabi, he fought a gangster dude. Like, the dude was sick. He's like, I think 27-3. So, you know, it's not like he's losing to slouches. I mean,
yeah, he's 22-3. Looking at him right now. Yeah. Yeah, well, I don't know. He's 21-3. He beat Bob Sapp. I'm not counting that, but yeah, 21-3. He's no joke.
Yeah, but you see what I mean? Like, it's not like he's losing to slouches. And then I come along where, you know, nobody knows me, and people didn't even give me the benefit of the doubt. I was written off like weeks before. 98% he had a victory chance of beating me. You know, that's kind of sad when 98% of the people that are voting that he's going to kick my butt, and then all of a sudden, you know, I knock him out. It's just like, whoa. Pump the brakes right there.
You know, it's kind of funny. I was following around the forums, you know, talking about the fights, and kind of the same thing. Most of the people thought, you know, that you were going to lose a fight, and then afterwards they're all bitching about all the mismatches. Like, you know, if everyone thought you were going to lose, how the hell did a mismatch when you win in 18 seconds, you know? But, you know, like you said, I mean, you know, running down this guy's, you know, fights, I mean, he has fought everyone from, you know, he fought King Mo, he fought Travis Fulton, he fought Jeff Monson, he fought, you know, like the guys you said. I mean, he's just fought tons and tons and tons of people. I mean, like I said, he's got 85 professional fights, so he's definitely Rico Rodriguez, tons of guys in there. So, you know, like you said, no, everyone was expecting you to lose. You didn't, and not only did you win, you won in a dominating fashion. So what do you think that does for you going forward here? I mean, you know, how does that elevate you in the world of MMA?
Well, I got a bunch of new fans.
Twitter's looking good, right?
Twitter, Facebook is what blew up. But hopefully it cements me a spot in the tournament, the next tournament coming up, because I feel that, you know, moving to Vegas, my training's really elevated to the next level. You know, back in Colorado, I was training with guys that were 160, 170 pounds. Don't get me wrong, my coach, you know, he was good technical and as far as that type of stuff goes, but it's hard to find decent heavyweights to roll with that have your type of work ethic. And, like, literally that Saturday before I left, Roy broke me. Like, we had 5 hard rounds of sparring at Syndicate, and these guys just kept rotating in on me, and damn, I wanted to quit. It sucked. Like, I was down on myself, beating myself up all day. Like, I can't believe I sparred that badly, you know, kind of second guessing myself. And then I was like, you know what? I go, if I can take 5 rounds with these chumps, you know, I can take 5 rounds with anybody. And that's basically what my mindset was. You know, they knew I was broke, but that's just the key. The key is to break you and keep on you to see how you react. And I guess I reacted pretty good.
Well, yeah, backing up a little bit here, that was my next thing I was going to get into was your training. But, yeah, I definitely don't think you'll have to worry about having a spot in the heavyweight tournament. I'm pretty sure that the invitation will be there for you. So we're looking forward to that. But yeah, I mean, you know, so you moved here to Vegas recently. When did you come here? Explain the move, you know. Well, I guess first go back, you know, what were you doing in Colorado? You know, explain the camp, you know, and you'd said, you know, a lot of smaller guys, there was good training, but, you know, no big guys. But explain what it was in Colorado, and then why you felt you needed to make the move out here to Vegas to reach your potential.
Well, originally I was based out of a jiu-jitsu camp in Loveland, Colorado. It was Infinite Mixed Martial Arts. It's a Hoist Gracie school, and I was doing Gracie jiu-jitsu. And, you know, focused a lot on grappling, you know, gi jiu-jitsu, that type of stuff. And the biggest guy they had there, he was 6'7", 350 pounds. That was my partner. That's who I rolled with every day. And, you know, it just got to the point where I needed more. I needed, you know, more sparring partners, more workout partners. And I had my boxing coach on the side. He was an Olympic alternate, you know, as far as his coaching went. And, you know, I worked mitts with him, and we traveled to different gyms just boxing sparring. But like I said, the heavyweight talent out in Colorado, it's far and few between. I mean, Grudge pretty much picked up all the heavyweight talent in Colorado, and I was having a tough time getting into there to get any work. So it just, it was kind of whack to me. And, you know, I got an invitation to come up here to help Roy out for his Carwin camp for the Ultimate Fighter finale. And so I flew out here. I got to meet, you know, Roy for the first time, got to meet his wife for the first time. And then, like, we just clicked after that. You know, for the next few weeks, we were training hard, you know, balls to the wall, grappling, sparring. And then, you know, the day before I left, I was just kind of like, you know, I'd like to be out here for my camps. And then his wife kind of put the bug in my ear. She's like, oh, well, you should talk to your wife about moving out here. And, you know, I went back home to Colorado, and I talked to my wife, Britt, and I was like, hey, Britt, what do you think about moving to Vegas? And, of course, she didn't think I was serious because I had just gotten back, and I just said that right away. And, you know, after the holidays, we sat down. I'm like, we really should move. And just so happens that Roy's condo became available, you know, right when we were deciding to move. So it all basically worked out. After Christmas, I had 3 days to pack my stuff in a Penske truck and drive down here, and that's basically what we did.
Yeah, so how did your wife handle it? I mean, you know, of course, you know, people think that all the fighters can just move around easily, but, you know, obviously in your case, you know, you had a family, you know, you had roots there in Colorado, so, you know, and as a fighter, I'm sure having family support as opposed to, you know, them, you know, not supporting you is crucial to your success. So how did they take it? You know, and you have kids as well.
I really don't have family. I have family in Colorado, but I don't talk to a lot of them. Just, you know, personal issues between my parents and whatnot. I have my brother that supports me a lot, and of course her family supports me 100%. They've been nothing but helpful for me. But you know, it was kind of an easy decision to up and leave because it's always nice here in Vegas. We don't endure the harsh winters like Colorado. We don't get 2 feet of snow up here, and we don't get slick streets and whatnot. So, you know, the hardest part was seeing how the kids adjusted. But as soon as we got here and you know, stuck our son in school and then got my daughter in daycare, they just decided that they loved it. And it was just a big blessing. Everybody likes it here. You know, ain't nothing better than a happy family.
Right. Well, you only been here a couple months. You're saying we, you know, when you talk about Vegas, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, it's you know, I live here too. It's you know, cool place, and you know, if you come here with the right mentality, you don't let the bad things of Vegas, you know, take control of you. It's a great place to be. So you get here. You know, tell us, you know, the first time you go into the Mayweather gym, hook up with Jeff, and the other places you're working at, and the other people. You know, you have Roy there. You have, you know, tell us about some of the other guys that you're working with as well.
Yeah, the first, you know, I met Jeff right before I had left back to Colorado, you know, during Roy's camp. I hadn't really got a chance to talk to him, but I seen what he was doing for Roy as far as his mitt work and strategy goes, and I was like, you know, wow, I'd really like to work with this dude. And so, you know, after getting settled in, unpacked and whatnot, you know, the first actual practice I had was with King Mo, Roy Nelson, and then there was a couple guys from AKA that were down, and you know, we did the whole grappling stuff and whatnot. And then I finally had talked to my manager. I go, hey, you need to get me in with Jeff. You know, we need to see what we could work out or, you know, how it goes or whatnot. And he was like, yeah, for sure. So we booked a fight, and right away, you know, I started working with Jeff. And, you know, at first it's kind of hard to take on a new coach because you're so used to doing stuff your way. But Jeff's cool. He didn't try to, like, reform me or remold me or anything. He just basically took what I already had and just added to it. And I'm telling you, like, working with this dude, it's just been nothing but leaps and bounds. You know, Mayweather knows his stuff, and just being able to go to, you know, the Mayweather gym where every fighter in there has the same mentality. You know, we're all in there for one reason, and is to get better and to be a world champion one day. And that's the best atmosphere anybody could be. So I'm just blessed to be around them type of people that are as hungry as I am.
Right. I was actually in the car with Jeff when he got a text from Mike Kogan, your manager, and he was saying, you know, this guy Ryan, he couldn't remember your name. He said he's some guy, but he was in jail for a long time. This guy there. I was like, Ryan Martinez. He said, yeah. He said, I'm working with him now. So yeah, I was actually there when he texted, and Mike told him he was going to be working with you. But yeah, I mean, you guys seem to have clicked really well. And the thing about Jeff, you know, and a lot of people have a misconception about is with and the one thing I noticed in the gym there at the Mayweather Boxing Club is that everybody's super supportive of each other. I mean, all the MMA guys, you know, and it was kind of funny because, you know, up until, the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 months or so, it was strictly boxing gym, and then all of a sudden we have all these MMA guys in there. And, but, it's been nothing but support. I mean, guys supporting each other, boxing helping MMA, MMA helping boxing. I mean, guys commenting on each other's fights, supporting each other, rooting for each other. It's a really cool atmosphere. And like you said, Jeff doesn't, and the good thing about Jeff, I think that helps with MMA is that he knows that boxing, what he's teaching you, it's not the end all for MMA because there's obviously differences between your sport and boxing.
Yeah, there's a difference, but I think what the boxers started to realize was that all of our fights end up standing up. And there's very few fights where you see nowadays where a fight, ends with a head kick. There's like maybe 1 out of 100 that ends with a head kick. So everybody's basically boxing before it goes to the ground. And like, with that being said, the boxers at the gym, they could utilize us MMA guys as far as sparring goes because we all need sparring, right? So, we get the function of sparring professional boxers that are high caliber, taking punches or whatnot, being MMA guys and learning how to react to these guys. And then they're getting guys that with a never stop, never quit attitude, that just keep coming and coming and coming. So basically it works out for both the boxers and the MMA guys. Plus, another thing I like about the gym is nobody in there has a big old ego. Like, everything's cool. We're all on the same level. They all check their egos at the door, and we're there to work.
Yeah, and that's you hit it right there because, you think, like I said, the Mayweather, you think, oh, well, there's going to be a bunch of arrogant pricks in there. But, I was really surprised when I first hooked up there, how friendly, how inviting everyone was. And, yeah, I mean, is there anyone in particular that you've clicked with in the gym there or anyone that, has really been helpful to you at all? Or
Man,
as far as the boxers go?
I click with all of them. Zach Cooper's cool. He's a little character, He likes to bullshit and whatnot. Just seeing the way that, they all support each other. Like, when the Money team went undefeated in their last Showtime card, that was a blessing. They all came back to the gym and it was back to work. It wasn't like, I'm going to take a month off. I did this, I did that. Nah, they were all back in the gym ready to work. And that just shocked me right there because usually, you win a world championship, you're going to take some time off and go and flaunt whatever you did. But, nah, they were all back in the gym doing the same thing we were doing.
Yeah. Well, of course, I know Zach, he definitely is a character and he always had shit for you. But I'm sure, you have to give back to him and say, he took all of this three rounds this past weekend to win his fight, so you took 18 seconds. So, you have something on there, you got to ask him what took him so long.
Yeah, he was telling me that his guy tried to Superman punch him, and we just busted out laughing. We're like, dude, you got Superman punched in a boxing match?
Well, that's something you could probably teach him some proper form on then, right?
Yeah, I don't like Superman punches. Mo could teach him about that. Mo knocked the dude I fought out with a Superman punch.
Yeah, that was his first fight, I believe. That was pretty crazy, having your first fight against somebody with that many victories or fights under their belt. So you mentioned Roy, you mentioned Mo. Who are some of the other guys out here? I mean, I know you had the Greco-Roman guy, but, who else have you been able to train with out here that's, like I said, like you have said, told me before, there's a lot of big guys out here. So who are some of the other guys you're working with?
Blagoya Ivanov came into our camp a few times. He was pretty steady with us for a few weeks, and then he kind of fell off. I don't know if he's training somewhere else or whatnot or doing his own thing, but he came in and, he's a good, solid body to roll with. He's big, and he knows his grappling, too. And then he's got a little sidekick. His name is Barney, I think. I don't know Barney's last name. He's a little white boy, but dude is legit. His wrestling's good. His sambo's good. He's a lot lighter than us, but he works in good, and, we learn a lot from him, too.
All right.
And then,
go ahead.
I was trying to think of, there was a couple other guys I'm forgetting, but I just can't remember off the top of my head right now.
Yeah, there was the Greco-Roman guy, I forget his name, that he was there, the Olympic guy.
Yeah, Boogie came in. He was throwing us all around. I mean, this dude's 190 pounds. And Roy was laying on his stomach, and the dude picked Roy up from the ground, laying on his stomach, and almost threw him. He could have threw him if he wanted to, but he was just showing us how easy it was. Ain't none of us been able to do that yet, so he's a rare breed, man.
Yeah, I was actually on the receiving end of that. Jeff made Mo made him do that to me. That was not very enjoyable. I'm 210 pounds, and he just picked me up like nothing over his shoulder, and actually I put a video on YouTube. He did to Rodney Chrysler, one of the boxing coaches up there, and he's I'm sure 20, 30 pounds heavier than Roy is, and he did it to him too. So yeah, that dude's crazy strong for sure.
Yeah.
Just kind of going back here then, your life is, for those that don't know you, because, I mean, honestly, no offense to you, but no one did know you until this past week, or at least, most of the casual fans surely didn't. So the one thing they do know, and it's been mentioned, and they showed the little thing on Bellator with your stat thing, there that, you'd been a drug dealer, you'd been to jail, and all that kind of stuff. So let's just, kind of back up a little bit, what got you changed, and well, first talk about what you were doing, and then what brought about the change in your life.
It was right after I won my my last state championship in high school. I was supposed to buckle down and get ready for college and do this and that, but I started partying real hard, and I had a lot of connections, just me being who I was, as far as, I'm not hard to get along with, and I knew a ton of people at the time. And, first I started off slanging weed. And, I made good money doing weed and whatnot. I used to get high, slang tons of weed, and then all of a sudden, like, the partying became into raving, and, I was slanging powders. Well, back then, the ice form of meth hadn't been around yet. It was just the crank. So I ran into some people that, that had this new product, and they just dropped a shit ton on me. And they're like, see what you can do with this, and, holler if you need more or whatnot. So, I took whatever they gave me, and basically it went so fast. They were like, wow. And the money, it kept coming and coming and coming. And, at first it was all about the money, it was about making as much money as you can to go party even harder, to do whatever you were doing. And then soon after that, came the partying with the drug. I never did it when I was making all kinds of money. And then all of a sudden, one day we're like, oh, you might as well try it. And I'm telling you, I tried it and I was hooked right away. And so then I started partying real hard, using the drug, making that money or whatnot. And it really didn't matter because the drug was limitless for me. I could always get as much as I ever wanted. And the money was always there. So, I just became a carefree type of dude, didn't give a crap about nothing, just getting high and making money. And then I ended up catching some charges. I got my first charge was attempted possession with intent to distribute, meaning they found a lot of drugs on the premises, but it wasn't on me, so they couldn't convict me with it. But because nobody would say anything and it was right by me, they right away assumed. And I'm sure I could have beat it in court had I dragged out the trial or whatnot, but I just wanted to get it done right away. So I pled to attempted possession with intent to distribute. And I ended up getting, I think, the total amount of time I did for all that would have probably been 8 years, in and out of jail. And then by the time I got to prison, I did 3.5 years in prison and then 2 years on parole.
Well, and then that's just, incredible. I spent a week in there one time in jail, and that was more than enough for me. So I can't imagine all that time there. So what? And the one thing, going back to Jeff, he told me the other day, and, neither of us know you that well. We just known you the last couple of months and talked to you. He knows you better than I do, but I talked to you a few times, and he's like, man, he just doesn't seem like he could ever went to jail for anything. He's too nice a guy. It doesn't seem like he has the person, like the hard, prison kind of, mentality and attitude. So what was it that changed your life and said, okay, I'm done with this. I'm going to do what's right?
I've always been the same easygoing, good dude to get along with, but, it takes a lot to make me mad, and as soon as I'm pushed past that point, of course I'm going to blow up, and bad stuff happens. But, what my turning point is the day I went to prison. That's what changed my life around. I had a baby girl out there on the street that needed me, that her mom abandoned her with my parents, and, like, the first thing I felt after I, sobered up and kicked, it was like, man, I need to get out there and be a father to my daughter. And, you know, from then on, you know, I took advantage of prison. I took it as a learning experience to where, you know, I learned how to weld in prison. You know, I was running every day, powerlifting, and then going to work. So I had my own routine going to kill my time. You know, I did my time. I didn't let my time do me. And that was the biggest thing for anybody in there. You know, of course, when it came down to, you know, people banging in there or whatnot, you know, I'm down to get down as much as the next guy. You know, I ain't going to let anybody get in my face or try and punk me, you know. So with that being said, I never fronted anybody as far as, you know, hit them up for nothing. You know, the dudes I did beat up, it was because they came at me. And I like to fight. That's just me. You know, I grew up from a wrestling background, and the addiction of winning, you know, that's a big addiction of just winning. So, you know, if someone challenges you, oh, yeah, I'll take that. Let's get it. Let's get the heads. And, you know, my fighting career pretty much started, you know, when I was in prison, and then as soon as I got out, it just blew up.
Right. Yeah, you keep mentioning wrestling, but you don't have proper cauliflower ears. I don't know that you've done any wrestling at all. I don't know.
I was that good.
You're that good, huh? All right. Yeah, I look at, you know, that's like all the other grapplers. You know, you look at first thing you do, I see a fighter, look at their ears, and say, okay, that's a ground fighter, that's a stand-up guy. But yeah, you don't have any cauliflower at all going on. But yeah, I mean, it had to have been, you know, obviously it was a terrible experience, but a good thing for you. But getting out and doing things the right way, you know, is it frustrating for you at all that, you know, that's always brought up, and that's or is it something that doesn't really bother you, and you're okay talking about it because you've done what's right now?
You know, the way I see it, the more success a man has, the more people try to dig in the closet. And, you know, if I hadn't have said nothing about it, then I'm sure people would be like, oh, this dude went to prison for this, that, and he did this much time for doing this. You know what? Like, I ain't got nothing to hide. I'm a straight-up guy. If you need to know something, you could just ask me to my face, and I'll blunt out tell you. You know, I call a spade a spade. I just tell it how it is. If you don't like it, well, then, you know, screw you. That's the type of person I am. There ain't no reason to be round about anything. You know, that's just like with life in general. You know, if life deals you a hard ball, you know, you're gonna go with the shot. You're gonna take it the best you can. You're not gonna go around about and say, oh, well, this didn't happen because so-and-so did this or so-and-so did that. Me, I'm the type of dude that's just like, oh, wow, you know, live and learn. Let's get over it. Let's build a bridge and get over this shit.
Yeah. Well, good. So the last thing I want to ask you, since you're such a straight-up dude, you know, you told me before, for those who haven't heard the story, you know, you certainly have some animosity towards one guy out there. So just tell us about, you know, like you said, you know, you're not, you know, you did it. You'll talk about it. It's not something you're proud of, but you're not hiding from it. But you're definitely angered by Frank Trigg and some things he had said about you before. You know, just go over that a little bit, and you know what he said, you know, kind of pissed you off.
Yeah. Once again, you know, it was my first fight on a national level. I signed with Pro Elite, you know, a while back. I think it was a couple years ago. It might have been sooner than that, but I think it was a couple years ago. And we were down in Moline, Illinois, and, you know, everything is just odd to me. I'm in awe and everything because, you know, we had to do our pictures. We had girls rubbing us down with baby oil to take pictures, and then, you know, we had a camera on me, and obviously you can tell when you're interviewing me, I don't like to look at the camera. I'm still camera shy, and I don't know why. I need to get over that. But, you know, I was in front of this camera, and actually, Chevello was there. Chevello was right next to him. And, you know, Frank Trigg just kind of looked me up and down, real arrogant, real cocky. And you know, I don't get off on that right away because, you know, who are you to think you're better than me, period? I'm pretty good at reading people, and I read him like a book. And when I started, you know, explaining my background, they were asking me certain things, you know, about my wrestling, and I told them, you know, I wrestled up into a certain date, and then it came to the part where it's like, well, what happened after that? Why didn't you continue your wrestling career? And I was like, yeah, most people went to college, and I ended up going to prison. And then right away, his little antlers perked up, like, oh, I got something on this dude. And so, you know, he told me to elaborate, and I told him exactly what I told you. You know, I went to prison for distribution of methamphetamines. You know, it was my bad. I learned my lesson, whatnot. And he just kind of gave me a dirty look, and he was like, oh, that's a typical Colorado native. Are you done with all the bullshit? What do you mean am I done with the bullshit? Obviously, I'm signed with a national combat league, so why wouldn't I? Like, what kind of questions I have to ask if, you know, to someone who's sitting right in front of you that you see is trying to do good? And he just kind of, like, smirked and waved me off, and even during the fight, like, he was just making little remarks, like, not even giving me a chance. Basically, the way the same people voted on Travis, you know, not giving me a chance at all. Oh, Alex needs to do that. Alex needs to do this. And, you know, I understand the critic part about it, but I was under the understanding that if you're a promoter, you don't favor one dude or another, vocally, you know what I mean? You wait till the fight's over and been like, oh, yeah, I kind of was pulling for this guy. He's done this, this, and that. But no, this dude favored the guy from the get and was just kind of basically hanging off the dude's nuts, and it just really got under my skin. And I was hoping I didn't have to see him again in Hawaii because I was going to give him an earful. And, you know, before that is when it came out to where, you know, he ended up choking his wife, and his wife came out on Twitter and all over with, you know, strangle marks around her neck. And I was just like, dude, how dare you judge me after you strangle your wife, you piece of shit. That's basically the hostility I got towards that dude.
All right. Well, you know, that's the thing. You know, what you did wasn't right. It was messed up. It was a terrible thing. But the fact of the matter is that you've acknowledged it. You paid your debt to society, and you're moving on. And you know, make that a negative when you're trying to do what's right is definitely wrong. You know, you need to, you don't want to look past it. But you know, like I said, you're trying to do what's right. So no reason to beat you down when you paid for it and you're moving on. So. You know, it was great hearing your story there, Ryan. You know, you're welcome to stay and talk with Mike. We're going to bring him on, but I know you're at work, I guess, so if you want to get out, that's fine. Do you want to stay or do you got to go?
No, I got to go, man. I'm just walking around here on the facility.
Oh, that's cool. All right. All right, well, just tell us real quick, the folks, you know, you're blowing up there on Twitter and everything, but tell them where they can follow you on the social media and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you can find me on Facebook, you know, just Ryan Martinez, and then you can find me on Twitter at 970King.
All right, Ryan, we appreciate it. Thanks so much. Anything else you want to add before we let you go? You know, we really appreciate having you on, and congratulations. You know, it's a huge victory for you. Anything else you want to add?
Yeah, I'd just like to thank God. I'd like to thank my biggest sponsor, Future Legend, and I'd like to thank Mayweather Boxing for, you know, sharpening up my hands, and Roy Nelson for just everything he's done, man.
All right, buddy, we appreciate it, and we look forward to seeing you again here in the heavyweight tournament in a couple months. Appreciate you stopping by.
Right on, man. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Ryan.
Later.